yoga friends. This is a short and sweet little practice, perhaps for your lunchtime. We're going to keep it 30 minutes. We're going to do some strength work in our legs and in our shoulders, and then a nice little shavasana to relax us after we do some work. So you can fit this in almost any time that you have about half an hour to practice. Go ahead, let's get started and come right into your child's pose or lying flat on your belly for a few breaths. You can have your knees, of course, a little wider, a little closer together in your child's pose. Reach your fingertips a little out in front of you and let your forehead rest down. If your forehead does not like to touch the floor, you could always fold your hands in or place a block or a book underneath of it. And just see how deeply can you relax in the next 3 breaths. How much can you let go in that short period of time? On your next inhale, lift your forehead up a little bit and crawl your fingertips over to the right side of your mat, just stretching the left side of the body. The head could drop back down if that feels comfortable. Let your hip go a little over to the left as your fingers go to the right. And then inhale, walk the fingertips back to the center line and over to the left. Stretching the right side of the torso, the right hip. Inhale the fingertips back to the center line. Start to lift the body up, coming towards your table pose. Tuck your toes under, press back through the arches of your feet, and lift to downward facing dog. We're going to spend a few breaths here. You could pedal your feet. Turn your toes a little bit to one edge of the mat, bend your knees and take your hips to the opposite edge. I'm turning my toes to the right and sitting back towards the left. You can do that on the other side, just adding on to that side stretch if that feels good. If you prefer, you can always stay in your table pose and move around a little there, maybe drawing some circles with your hips. And take another deep breath. And then as you inhale in your downward facing dog, lift up onto your tippy toes, slide forward into a plank, and you're just going to stay in your plank. You're not going to lower down. Soften your hips a little bit, shrug your shoulders back. If you do this in the low variation, you can always walk your hands forward and come to a low plank with the knees on the floor if you need to. Lift up the space between your shoulder blades towards the ceiling, but keep relaxing your hips a little bit. We're going to hold for just one more breath. And then firm your belly button towards your spine, lift back to downward facing dog. And start to walk or step your feet up towards the front of the mat to dangle. You can always let your hands be heavier, take your hands to the opposite elbow crease. If you need more support in your back, you can always rest the hands or the arms somewhere on the thighs. Maybe nod your head, yes, or shake it, no. I wish I was eating chips instead of doing yoga right now. Inhale, find a halfway lift. As you exhale, you're going to plant your left hand on the floor in front of your left foot, bend deeply into your left knee and twist to your right. Shrug your shoulders back. If your left hand has a hard time reaching the floor, grab any kind of prop and place it underneath. Maybe lift your right arm up to the sky for a little twist. Exhale, come back to the floor. Same thing to the other side. Bend deeply into your right knee. Now right hand to the floor, twist to the left. My left leg likes to come straight, but yours might like to be quite deeply bent. See what feels pleasantly stretchy around your hips and your lower back. Exhale to fold back to the floor. Keep your knees soft, and as you inhale, you're going to ragdoll yourself one vertebrae at a time up to the sky. Walk your hands on your thighs if you like support for your lower back. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. As you inhale, bring your arms up overhead. We're gonna just keep moving. So as you exhale, press the palms together, bend your knees, come to your Utkatasana, your chair pose. Taking a look down, make sure you can see your knees beyond your toes here. Soften your shoulders. Keep your hands at your heart, or you can do hands to thighs. As you inhale, shrug the shoulders back, bring the chest forward, cow pose. As you exhale, pull the belly back, round the shoulders, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. If you like to add some arms, you could inhale, open the arms. Exhale, draw forearms, palms, and elbows together, rounding into a little egg. Your own pace. You can always do this standing straight up if your legs are not feeling like squatting this morning. Last set. Inhale, you're gonna open everything all the way up, bring your arms overhead. And as you exhale, fold, hands through the heart again or out to the sides. Inhale, find your halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands down. It's okay to bend your knees deeply and step back. Table or downward facing dog, your choice. Inhale, come forward to your plank, Again, you're going to hold here for a few breaths. Puff up the space between your shoulder blades, but relax your hips a little bit. Hold here for another deep breath. Inhale, come back to downward facing dog or slide your hips a little bit back towards table if you're in the low variation. Inhale again, come forward to plank, just working the shoulder joint. And this time as you exhale, lower your knees if they're not already there and come all the way to the floor. Inhale, lift the center of the chest. Find a cobra pose, squeeze your elbows in. You're welcome to come as high as feels good in your lower back. Exhale to release, tuck your toes under and come back, table or downward facing dog. Take a moment, get set up. Inhale, lift your right foot to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot up between your hands. If your foot doesn't get there, you can always grab it, show it where to go. Bring your left knee to the floor. Don't hesitate to cushion that left knee. If you need to, you can untuck the toes here for this one. Inhale, you could stay here. Or you could come up a little higher, hands to thigh. Hands to hips or even arms to the sky. One deep breath. Maybe a little lean forward. Inhale again here. And as you exhale, you're going to fold, step back. You could step back to downward dog or back to table. Take a breath in here and a breath out. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Bring your right knee to the floor, adding a cushion if you need to. Shrugging the shoulders back. You could stay low. You can always use props underneath your hands. You could come higher. Once you get into your lunge, just a full deep breath there. You can lean forward to accentuate that stretch at the front of the body. Inhale in your lunge. Exhale to fold, tuck your back toe and lift your back knee if you're coming to downward dog, or simply step back to table. One deep breath here. And then walking, stepping, or hopping, come back to the front of the mat. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, roll yourself all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, hands to the heart, bend your knees, find your chair pose. Adjust the distance between your feet or the angle of your feet so that you feel comfortable here. We're going to add a twist this time into our chair pose. This is your inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to twist to your right. You could bring the back of your left arm to your right thigh. You could bring that's my left hand to your thigh and your right arm to the sky if you like. See what feels good. Stick your tailbone out behind you. And inhale, come back to the center line. Exhale, twist to the left. Find your variation. Lift your belly button up towards your spine. Inhale, come back to the center line. As you exhale, press down into the soles of your feet so that as you inhale, you can almost kind of press into the feet to lift all the way up to standing. As you exhale, you fold forward again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down, step or hop or walk back, table or downward facing dog. Again, we're going to hold a plank pose. Knees could be up or knees can be on the floor. Shrug your shoulders back. Lift the center of your chest. Relax your hips. Shrug your shoulders back. Make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide here to provide a good base of support for your wrists. And then lifting your belly up, you slide back, downward facing dog. Inhale again, forward to plank. This time you can exhale with the knees up or the knees down, your choice, all the way to the floor. Pick up cobra, pick up upward facing dog, or if your wrists tend to fatigue from holding those planks, you might decide to pick up sphinx and give them a little break. Exhale to release, hands come under the shoulders, press back, table, or downward facing dog. One breath here, get set up, and we'll add on. Inhale, right foot to the sky. Exhale, right foot up between the hands. Again, the back knee is going to come to the floor, but leave your back toes tucked under. Shrug your shoulders back and see if you can lift a little higher. Hands to thigh, hands to hips, or if you feel confident, arms up to the sky. And you can always pad your knee. What we're going to do here is lift up to standing. This is your out breath here. As you inhale, press into the balls of your left toes and see if you can lift your knees straight up into your lunge. Take a moment to adjust as needed. Relax your shoulders as you take a deep breath. Next, we'll move up and down. Inhale at the top, and then as you exhale, bend your knee. Maybe you can go all the way down and kiss the floor. Inhale to lift. 4 more, or as many as you can. Exhaling to lower, and inhaling to lift. On your last one, you can lower the knee all the way down. Bring your hands down, plant them underneath your shoulders, and step back, table, or downward facing dog. Take a deep full breath before we move to the other side. And then inhale, float your left foot. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Bring the right knee to the floor. You can keep the toes tucked under here. Shrug the shoulders back. Lifting up a little bit. Making sure you feel quite strong and stable. Hands to thigh, hands to hips. It's totally acceptable here to bring a chair into play and bring it beside you. When you're ready, exhale, ground down. Inhale, see if you can lift up into that lunge position. Maybe even soften your back knee a little bit so that you can lift your belly and the center of your chest upwards. Again, this is your inhale. As you exhale, you dip that knee to the floor. Inhale to lift. Go just as deep as you can. If you only do one, that's completely fine. You want to find a little bit of heat in your legs. Maybe you've got 2 more left in you. Lower that back knee all the way down. Untuck the toe for comfort. Hands to the floor. Step back, table, or downward facing dog. We'll take 3 deep, full breaths here. If you feel frisky and you're enjoying this heat, you could take those 3 breaths if you prefer in your plank, holding something a little more vigorous. If you feel really frisky, you could add a couple of push-ups here. If you feel a little hot and bothered, you could take a breath in 2 in your child's pose. See what works for your body. As you're ready, make your way back to your table or your downward facing dog and walk or step or hop up to the front of the mat to find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fall. Inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, bend your knees, come back to your Utkatasana, back to your squat. And this time we'll move dynamically. As you inhale, you lift up. As you exhale, you squat. Feel more than free to adjust the distance between your feet. You might like to go wider. The angle of your feet, they can go a little out so it's more like a horse squat. And move in the range of motion that feels good. Feel a little bit of heat building. Enjoy it. We don't have a lot of it today. So you can think, only another 5 minutes of standing work, of vinyasa work. Let's get a little extra warm. 3 more squats. Last one, you're gonna come all the way up as you inhale. As you exhale, you fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands, make any adjustments you need, and step back. Table or downward facing dog. Inhale forward, hold your plank for a few breaths. Knees can be up or knees can be on the floor. Lift your belly, lift the space between your shoulders. Relax your hips a little bit. On your inhale, lift your belly up and in, slide a little bit back, release the pressure on the wrists. And then inhale, come forward to your plank again, lower high, exhale all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes, inhale, cobra. Upward facing dog if you like, or again, that sphinx to release the wrists. And then we'll come back and meet in table or downward facing dog. Take a deep breath. Inhale your right foot to the sky. Exhale your right foot to the front of the mat. Drop the back knee down. The toes, again, stay tucked under. Same thing at first that we did. You're going to lift yourself up. Hands to thigh, hips, or sky. On your next inhale, see if you can lift that back knee up. Lunge position. Here is where it gets fun. This is your inhale. As you exhale, you're going to fold forward. You can bring your hands to your thigh or your arms back behind you. See if you can lift your left foot from the floor and sweep it all the way up and in. Balance. Maybe this works, maybe it doesn't. And then we're going to repeat. See if you can step that left foot far back behind you. Place it on the floor. Maybe you can even lift your arms up to the sky. Inhale. As you exhale, fold forward. Step up, and it's okay if it's not one smooth movement and it takes 5 or 6 movements. And you have to let your foot stay on the floor. If you feel your body working, that's what we're going for. Inhaling back. Exhaling, foot to floor. Maybe on the inhale you can lift. Folding and lifting up. If you've got a few more left in you, go for it. If you need a break, you can always come back to that low lunge. Ooh, bubbles. One more. Take the left foot, if it's still up there, back far, far, far behind you. This time bring your hands to the floor and step back, table or downward facing dog for a deep breath. When you're ready, you're going to take your left foot to the sky as you inhale and step that left foot forward as you exhale. Right knee to the floor, toes stay tucked under. You're going to lift yourself up. Shoulders shrug back. Maybe when you're ready on an inhale, one smooth breath takes you to the sky. Soften that back knee a little bit. Find the stability of your front foot. Breathe in here. And as you breathe out, you fold forward. You see if you can lift that right foot in and come all the way to standing. Knee no higher than your hip approximately. When you're ready, you step back. Put the foot on the floor. It's totally fine if this whole time your hands are on the floor, but maybe if you feel strong, you could lift your arms to the sky. Exhale, fold a little bit, and lift. Inhale, step back, find that little bit of float in Warrior 3 before you drop the foot down, and maybe inhale all the way up. Maybe you've got 2 more. Do what you can. Focus on making this movement fluid and smooth. Which doesn't mean that it's a failure if it's not fluid and smooth. It's just something to work on. Bringing the back knee all the way to the floor. Fold forward, plant your hands, step back, table or downward facing dog, your choice. This time we'll take a little break, spread the knees wide, bring them to the floor. Child's pose, crawl your fingertips forward. Take a moment, feel your breath. When you're ready, inhale, lift up. You're going to come towards your plank. You can stay low, knees on the floor, or you can tuck your toes and lift up, come a little higher. Hold here, shrugging the shoulders back. Lift the belly. Lift the hips. Could always add a push-up or two here, or simply this hold of the plank is often plenty. Just start to feel your whole body work. Take another deep breath. And this time we'll just lower straight down to the floor as we exhale. Inhale, cobra or sphinx or upward facing dog. Exhale back, table or downward facing dog. Deep full breath. On your inhale, float your right foot to the sky. On your exhale, take your right knee behind your right hand. We're going towards a pigeon pose. This feels comfortable. Slide your left foot back, lowering the left thigh to the floor. Here you could stay up, or you could fold forward, relaxing towards the mat. If this traditional variation of pigeon doesn't work for your body, you're welcome to sit on the outer edge of the right hip. Draw the left knee in for your pinwheel shape, folding forward there. A little less pressure on the knee joints. Or go onto your back, right ankle over the top of the left knee. Left knee might come in towards you. These are all targeting the hip. Did quite a bit of work there. And you just want to begin to feel some release. Feel a little bit of that heat dissipating. Switch sides. If you're on your back, you could simply switch to crossing the left ankle over the top of the right knee. If you're facing forward, you can lift yourself up. You can go back to table or back to downward facing dog. You might even extend to a little three-legged dog and roll out your ankle, flex and point a little bit. Right foot comes to the floor, left leg comes to the sky. Step the left knee behind the left hand. I like to practice with my foot quite far diagonally back behind my right hand. You can slide the right thigh back, untuck the toes. You can stay lifted. You can fold. You can always come and sit on the outer edge of your left hip for your pinwheel, or roll onto your back, or kind of the other way around. If you're on your back and you decide this isn't quite right for this side, switch it up. It doesn't have to look the same if it doesn't feel the same. Again, maybe your breath is slowed down even a little more here. You can feel your body beginning to relax a little bit. Release from this side. If you do happen to be lying on your back, feel more than free to stay there, because that's where we will all be coming next. If you're facing forward, what you'll want to do is, again, make your way back to your table or your dog. Shake things out a little bit. And then you can walk or step your feet up. Bring your buns to the floor and come to lie down all the way onto your back. Once you've lain down all the way onto your back, slide the soles of your feet in and just reach down. You approximately want to be able to touch the heels of each of your feet with your middle fingers. Your feet are pretty close. We're going to take a bridge pose. Hands come out to the sides, press the palms to the floor, relax your shoulders. On an inhale, bring your belly button towards the floor, press your heels down and lift your hips towards the ceiling. You might decide to stay right here, or you might decide to go a little deeper for the shoulders. Bringing the hands in, you can hold the outer edges of the mat and give it a little tug, or you can shrug your shoulders underneath you and interlace your hands underneath your back here as well. And take another deep, full breath. And then releasing the hands, release the hips. Take a moment here just to rest in neutral, or if you like, you can take the feet a little wider than the hips and let the knees knock in towards one another. Reach your arms up to the sky. Cross your left arm on top of your right arm. Wrap your arms around yourself. Give yourself a huge hug. You can rub on your shoulder blades, your upper arms if you want a little bit. Give yourself a gentle massage. Now separate the knees, take the soles of the feet together, let the knees fall out to the sides. Open up the arms, now cross the right arm on top. Give yourself that big hug. When you're ready, open your arms up. You can use your hands to gather your legs, your knees back in. Take your feet a little wider than your hips. Bring your arms out to the sides. And just sway your knees a few times from right to left. From here, you might feel perfectly ready to extend your legs long towards your Shavasana. You might feel that there's another pose or shape. Some of us like to draw our knees in towards our chests for a few moments to relax the lower back before we Shavasana. Anything else that you might need here, don't hesitate to add it in to complete your practice. When you're ready, allowing yourself to come to your most comfortable resting place. As you arrive in that resting place, allow your eyes to soften. Allow the space behind your eyes to soften. Allow your jaw to soften. The tops of your shoulders to relax. Release the center of your chest. Relax your abdomen, your belly, and let your legs and arms be pleasantly heavy. Time, I encourage you to stay for another 3, 5, 10 minutes, enjoying your Shavasana. This is just as important as the physical work that we packed into the 30-minute class. So take as much time as you can to allow your body to assimilate the work that we did today. You're ready to move on with your day. You can wiggle your fingers and toes. Make your way over to one side to rest for a breath or two. We're coming to your most comfortable seated position this afternoon. As you arrive in your seat, bring your hands in front of your heart. And close our practice with our deep breath together, in through the nose, out through the mouth, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice and your time, and I wish you a beautiful rest of your day.